American Legion Post 31 pitcher Zach Pace on the mound. He'll have Anthony LaPlaca be his battery mate, and we'll have a non-league matchup, the second meeting of the year between Granville Post 323 and American Legion Post 31 out of Rutland. Rutland winning their first meeting 10-5 in a rather strange game. We'll get into that later on. But here's Brad Curtis at the plate. He's also going to be the shortstop. He was one of the better players in that first game for Granville. And Pace will be right there with a strike. Pace has just gotten better and better as the season's progressed along. He's got a lot of power, but he's got some nifty pitches to mix in there. He's got some breaking stuff, knuckle curve, and that'll be in the dirt. We'll have a 1-1 count. Like I said, 10-5 the first time these two teams got together. It was a season and home opener for Rutland Post 31 at the time. They scored 10 runs in the first inning of that game. And they did it with 5 walks, 2 hit batters, and a couple timely placed base hits. But after that, their offense kind of got lulled to sleep, and they're able to hold on for that 10-5 win. That pitch will be inside. We'll have 2 balls, 1 strike is the count. Pace coming off a good season at MSJ, and that's going to be off the fist and up in the air. And Chris Parker zeroing on it. A second baseman for Rutland will grab a hold of it. And Chris Parker, who graduated this past season from MSJ, going to head up to Norwich and head to college there. That's where he'll be spending his fall season. So they get that leadoff hitter out on that fly ball, and now Tom Jackson, the catcher, up. He's hitting in that number 2 spot. He's been moved up from the first time they met. And again, he was one of the good players in that lineup for Granville. What really got Granville in trouble in that first game was their starting pitcher, Dan Randall, who's going to be starting at first tonight. Just had all kinds of trouble with his control, and like I said, 5 walks, 2 hit batters, and that's a big hole to get out of in 1 inning. That pitch was short, and it'll be ball 1. We're scheduled for 7 tonight. Rutland coming off a win on the road against Woodstock. That's going to be up the middle, and a base hit to center field. Rob Dorian will get down and pick it up, and we'll have our first base runner of tonight's game. Now, Pace, like all those Post 31 pitchers, has an excellent move to first base. Now Dan Randall up, hitting number 3 in the lineup. Like I said, he started in the pitching position last game, and they got him over at first base tonight. So Pace, for the first time tonight, will pitch from the stretch. You can see that target on the outside corner, and boy, that's a pitcher's pitch right there. If he can get that low call all night, he'll be in good shape. It'll be no balls, 1 strike. And I'll go through that defense for you, starting with first base, where Garrett Brewer will be there tonight. Chris Parker's at second. Pat Guyette's at short. And Jeff McLaughlin is over at third base. Runner going, and we got a chance to double him up. And boy, Holtman just rolling around. He'll have the ball pop free. And all that happened, and it's going to be a foul ball. I tell you, that was more action than you see on most games through the whole 3 innings. And Holtman almost came up with a catch, rolled around, runners going from first to second, home back to first, and all it is a strike when they're all done. And again, we have a change on that Legion schedule. The July 22nd game got canceled. The doubleheader with New Jersey, they got canceled out. And that's a shame. I would like to see a team like that from a large city. And there's a thrower to first, and the runner back safe. The tag applied late, and now we'll do the outfield for you. I've already mentioned John Holtman out in right field, Rob Dorian's in center, and Sean McGuire over there in left field. That's the complete defense now for Rutland Post 31. We are in the top of the first. Pace sometimes has a little inning or two where he takes a while to kind of find his rhythm. He's got 1 out, 1 on, an 0-2 count right here. Cleanup hitter, Shawnee 2, is on deck. Well, you can see that broke around the plate, didn't nick it, but it kind of fooled the hitter Randall as he ducked back out of the way a little bit. Matt Sharon not here tonight. He's been playing outstanding shortstop for Rutland Post 31. He's on a runner back safe. He's on a college tour. He's taking a visit to some of the colleges, or to his college, he'll be going to. Hopefully he'll get back in that lineup pretty quick here as LaPlaca is going to come out. They're going to talk to Pace now. It's been a couple, I'm trying to think of the last time I saw Zach pitch. I believe it was the Windsor game, so it's been a while since he pitched. And they're just maybe talking change up here on the sign for pitch out or whatever. But with a runner on first, there's not too many other things they can really be talking about right now, other than maybe they're just not agreeing on what to throw. And you should always listen to your catcher. And that's going to be Brewer, and he'll make the nice grab. Would he stay in play? Yep, and that'll be an out right there. 2 down now, runner at first, and Garrett Brewer in foul territory will make the catch. So Shawnee 2 up now, and he'll be at third base tonight defensively for Granville post 323 when he gets set to go out in the field in the bottom half of the first. Quistapace trying to not let that first inning single here come back to get him and score a run. He's in good shape right now. E2 with good power. Obviously he's in that cleanup spot. And now we'll have to see that it's going to be a wild pitch, obviously, and the runner's going to take a wide turn and stay at second, but did he go after the pitch? He kind of offered at it. It's a matter, did he swing at it? See if they even appeal it. Somebody's asking for the appeal. Sound like McGuire in left field. And then it looks like it's going to stay. Ball 1. Great stop by LaPlaca. He'll throw down, and Parker will let the ball dribble by him. Backed up nicely by Guyette. No damage done. And Quistapace with 2 balls, no strikes now. If E2 can extend this inning, they're going to have a DH, Mike Jones, coming to hit for the pitcher tonight. Eric Crossman won't be padding starting of the ball game here. That going to be a tough catch. Brewer. Oh, that would have been a great catch. Gave it a great effort, trying to do the over the shoulder like a football receiver catch right there, but it just goes off the end of his glove and will stay with Shawnee 2 at the plate. He's got a 2-1 count now. You see McLaughlin come in and say something. McLaughlin, very vocal leader out there at third base, talking to Quistapace. In that Windsor game, Quistapace had 9 strikeouts. That was a 9-inning game. He ended up going 7 of the innings. Did a great job for post 31. By far his strongest outing of the season. Like I said, he's just been getting better and better with each game this year. That pitch will miss. He'll have a 3-ball, 1-strike count. So Granville trying to get on top here early tonight. And great pitch. That'll bring it to a full count. Runner down at second is Tom Jackson. Getting a conservative lead right now. He's kind of hanging around the bag. And the Quistapace will come in and they'll throw down to second. And boy, and again, that's going to go out to Dorian. And he's going to come up throwing. He's going to have a chance at third base. Nope. He's going to throw the ball away. That'll be out of play, and the run will score. And sloppy play here by post 31 in this top of the first. So Jackson comes in to score. That'll be an error on Dorian. And then he too takes second base as the ball had gone out of play, and they're going to give him third. I thought they'd move him on, so. Now Mike Jones up. So it's going to be 1-0 Granville with 2 down, runner at third, and Jones at the plate. At first on that play, it looked like that Jackson might have kind of been hesitant enough between second and third where they might have had a play on him at third, but in the end it turns out being a good thing for Granville. And our first lefty at the plate, and Quistapace on that outside corner. Nice pitch. And Quistapace, big guy, throws a fastball. He's got a knuckle curve, a changeup. And that's going to be chopped down hard in the dirt. Guyette with a short hop will take it to first, and a good stretch by Brewer, and that's going to be the top half of the first with Granville leading 1-0. See the final warm-ups by the pitcher for Granville, post 323, Eric Crossman out there. Tom Jackson will be his battery mate at the catching position. First base will be Dan Randall. Jim Joy will be at second. Brad Curtis, who pitched from the second inning on in the first meeting, did a really nice job. He'll be at shortstop, and Shawnee, too, will be at third base. The outfield will have Willie Haddock out in left field, Jordan Beckler's in center field, and Brian Leach out in right field. And Rob Dorian will be leading things off for post 31. He's going to have Chris Parker moving up to hit in the number 2 spot tonight. Then Jeff McLaughlin is the third spot, and Garrett Brewer will be the cleanup hitter. Now in the warm-ups, don't forget, I'm about 300 some odd feet behind the pitcher. It looked like he was throwing a knuckleball at times in his warm-ups. And that'll come in low for a ball. Good eye right there laying off it. It's 1-0 Granville. You're watching Channel 15, Public Access Television. The website is PEGTV.com, and the phone number is 747-0151. So Crossman, with his second pitch, will get that call on the outside corner. 1-1 to count, and Dorian's done a nice job getting on base in that leadoff spot, making contact, but also knowing the strike zone, able to draw the walks. Very smart player. Got good speed also when they do get him on the base pass. And that right there looked like the knuckleball. Just the hesitation in his delivery. It'll be going to a 2-1 count. And boy, they appealed that. And of course he didn't swing, but it just seemed like a pretty awkward appeal considering he didn't move the bat. But here we come in now with the 2-1 count and a pitch on the way. And he'll sail outside, and 3 balls, 1 strike to Dorian. I said Rutland having a up and down weekend. They played down in Bennington, a game that was tied late in the game, and then Bennington just exploded for a ton of runs and a bunch of walks and some problems in relief pitching, and Rutland ended up losing to Bennington post 13, and then they came back the next day and beat Woodstock in a shortened game by the runs. That's going to be a walk to Dorian, and now Chris Parker, who has been hitting either in the 5th or 6th spot, he's now hitting in that number 2 spot. And we'll see what Coach Sorelli wants to do here with Parker as far as with Dorian at first base. Good combination right here for the hit and run. So from the stretch, Crossman's pitch will come in, and that'll be a strike. And again, Dorian with good speed at first base, and Parker with good speed down at home plate. We're in the bottom of the first, going to go 7 tonight. Second meeting of the year between Granville and Rutland. It was a 10-5 Rutland win in the first meeting. And that's going to be right to third base. They're going to take Dorian out at second. They'll turn and get the double play. And they will, that's a tough one to turn, but they'll go, I think it went 5-4-3 on the double play. Now McLaughlin up with nobody on, and Brewer on deck. I didn't think at first they were going to be able to turn that because it was such a soft throw from third base where Shawnee 2 is, and he brought it to Joy, and it was a good return throw from second to first, and that's going to be called a strike on that inside corner. Outfield lined up straight away, and not really shallow, but playing about midway. So McLaughlin waits for Crossman's pitch, and that one will cut the plate, but it'll be low. And that'll even things up now at 1 ball, 1 strike. It's a hazy, sunny, warm evening here at St. Peter's Field, and lots of games left, but that July 22nd game, that doubleheader against New Jersey, that's been crossed off the schedule. That's a cancellation, so you should mark that down. And that's what looks like the knuckleball, and that's going to be called a strike, and it'll be 1 ball, 2 strikes. But on the 16th of July, there'll be a doubleheader here at St. Peter's Field, and that's a noontime start. The weeknight games are 5:30 start time. And that will be down to Joy at second base. He'll make the throw, and no runs. Will stay 1-0. Granville with the lead going into the top of the second. So Quistapace in that first inning gave up a single. There was a walk and then an error, and that led to the whole combination where it was the equation that led to the Granville run. And Jim Joy up now. He's going to be hitting number 6 in the order. He's the second baseman. Willie Haddock will be on deck, and batting third will be Brian Leach. And Quistapace right to work here will be just overpowering with that pitch. And we'll set that again. The defense for Rutland has LaPlaca behind the plate. Brewer at first, Parker at second, Guyette at short, and McLaughlin at third base. And that's going to be fouled, and Brewer's been busy chasing down balls. He looks like he's got a beat on this one, and he'll have his second put out in foul territory, and that's the first out of the top of the second. John Holtman, Robbie Dorian, and Sean McGuire, that's the outfield. So Haddock now will get his first look at Zach Quistapace, and they played high school ball together here at MSJ. Haddock from the left side. Second lefty in the lineup that Quistapace has had a look at, and he'll start him off with that big breaking ball. He'll miss outside, make it a 1 ball, no strikes. And again, we got a sparse crowd. We got to pump the crowd up here for these Legion games. Now that one, it's not where the catcher catches it. That was around the plate, never nipped the corner, and it'll be ball 2. Almost got to think he's definitely going to come back with a fastball right here. As Hadaka will watch ball 3 come in low. So a 3-0 count to the very speedy Willie Hadaka. So Equistapase did have a walk back in the first. And he's playing with one right now with a 3-0 count. See if Hadaka's taking all the way with a 3-0 count. And that was about as far out on the corner you could scratch it right there, and you'll have a 3-ball, 1-strike count. If you can get that call all night. Too far out. Now it'll be a walk, and that'll put Willie Hadaka down at first base. Like I said, the last time I remember Equistapase pitching was against Windsor, which was over a week ago. Now Brian Leach up with a runner at first. Hadaka will be held on down there by Brewer. There is one down, and Jordan Beckler will be the on-deck hitter for Granville. And in every game that I've covered here at St. Peter's Field, Post 31's been able to turn at least 1 double play per game. That's a good stop in the dirt on that pitch low and outside by Anthony LaPlaca. And if you look at the standings for Legion Ball, especially in that southern bracket, wide open. Even with that bad loss to Bennington on the road, that's only their second league loss. They have a tie, or game's going to be finished with Chester. That was a 2-2 tie called the Darkness. And of course they lost to Hartford here at St. Peter's Field 8-5. That's a good stop again by LaPlaca. And Equistapase struggling a little bit with his control right now. It's gone to another 3-ball count. He's at 3-0 right now to Brian Leach. He walked Hadaka, who's over at first base. And Equistapase, when he's not feeling it, he'll take a lot of time between pitches, walk around like he just did. And that'll be ball 4. So he'll walk back-to-back hitters. But when he finds his groove, Equistapase, he's one of those guys, just like all pitchers, like Turner and Pamacala, where he'll just catch him fire. And it's going to bring a visit now from Jeff Brewer, the pitching coach, assistant coach for Post 31. He'll come out with LaPlaca, and he'll talk to Equistapase. A lot of times, it's just as simple as he doesn't like the pitch selection. It could be too many breaking balls, or he doesn't feel he's putting the fastball in there enough. And a lot of it can just be Jeff's a big, intimidating guy. He played pro ball. And over the PA announcement, they just announced Nicole Densmore will be celebrating her 21st birthday in 6.5 hours, because she was very specific at the start of the game. And of course I know that because she's my niece. So the visit's over. We'll see if it corrects any of the problems Equistapase has been experiencing here. And Beckler will be up, and he represents the number 9 spot in the order, which means top of the order. Brad Curtis is on deck. And that comes in high. That was a fastball. That was high and tight, though. And going back to Hadaka now, that is 6 straight balls by Equistapase. We're in the top of the second. Granville already with a 1-0 lead and threatening to add to it here in the top of the second. That's a good pitch. And Equistapase, don't forget, had that very serious leg injury the past high school football season. His dad, Frank, talking about how he's still trying to learn to land on the ankle right now. And they show bunt, and the pitch goes outside, and that'll be 2 balls, 1 strike. Now, a lot of times you'll see a bunt like that, and that really wasn't the game plan, more just to get everybody moving around and thinking on that infield, and they'll take the bunt off a lot of times. Not saying that's going to happen here, it's just conjecture to fill up airspace. So from the stretch, Equistapase will get the sign. LaPlaca wants the outside corner, and another good pitch. Didn't hit the target, but he'll take that any day. That's going to be strike 2. 2-2 the count. 1-0 to score at Granville with that first inning run. And again, you're watching Public Access Television at Public Access Sports with the PEGTV.com website. Also located down in Building 24 in the House Center. And they are going, and they're going to have a chance. And they got him and show him the ball. And wow, I don't know how he didn't get the tag down and he wasn't out, but he is called safe, and on the double steal, the runners at second and third. LaPlaca put the throw right there, and it looked like McLaughlin had to play under control. I like the aggressive play, though, by Granville. So a 3-2 count, and second and third on that double steal. Again, Matt Sharon not here tonight for Post 31. He's at his college orientation. And boy, that's a good defensive swing, but that probably was going to be ball 4. And it's hard to, you know, that ball comes at you real quick. And he had to make a decision. He fouled it off, and we'll stay at 3-2. And again, top of the order. On deck, and Brad Curtis. Boy, if they had to miss anything, it had to be high, but it'll be a walk, and there'll be 3 walks now in a row by Equistapace. And Brad Curtis up. Now Curtis, back in the first inning, he popped up to Chris Parker, the second baseman. So he's 0 for 1 this evening. And yeah, it's a good thing offensively that the base is loaded, but also it's gives you a lot more combinations to put together a double play here. Equistapace with no strikeouts yet. He's called a balk on Equistapace. Now I didn't see him actually ever come to set, but they called a balk, and Coach Sorelli not coming out of the dugout, so they will balk in a run. And this long second inning continuing on now. Again, he has just looked uneasy even though we're only in the second inning, but he has looked uneasy the whole time he's been pitching tonight. That'll be a strike right there. So second and third one down, run balked in. So they've scored on a balk and on an errant throw, and that's going to be a wild pitch, and that will score another run. In time they locate the ball, it's too late, and boy, what an ugly, ugly first inning and a half here for Post 31. Whoops, and I'm not sure how long they'll go with Equistapace. 3 walks, a wild pitch, a balk, and this is all just in the second inning. See nobody in the dugout, or behind the dugout in the bullpen area throwing right now for Post 31. I would imagine, though, that pitching-wise, you wouldn't see Pamakala tonight. That's going to be fouled down the third baseline for a strike. Pamakala was a pitch. He went 7 innings down in Bennington Saturday, so today's only Monday. We're tape delayed, so he's only had the day off, 1 day off. And Turner you wouldn't see in a situation right here with a non-league game anyways. And so Rutland bringing in their middle infield, and that's going to be his first strikeout, and that'll be the second out of the inning. And Tom Jackson, who had a single and scored a run back in the first inning. It's now 3-0 Granville. And Granville, boy, they're having quite a streak of games. Talking to their head coach, they've played 8 games in 10 days. That's a lot of baseball. We don't get that around this area. And that is going to be McLaughlin going toward the bleachers. And, oh, he came. Did he get that? Oh, what a nice job by McLaughlin. He could sense the bleachers. He had to kind of shy away and turn away. Good effort. Just didn't come up with the ball. And it'll be a strike on Tom Jackson. Remember, it was Jackson's single, and then the throw going to third that went on a plate allowed to run to score. So everybody gets back into position now. And that will come too far inside, and that'll be a ball. So Zach Equistapace kind of grind out this second inning. And boy, that's going to be to Dorian, and whoa, he'll leap up and make the catch. And 2 more runs come across, 2 more unearned runs come across for Post 323 from Granville, and they'll have a 3-0 lead over Rutland going to the bottom of the second. It'll be Garrett Brewer leading things off here in the bottom of the second, Post 31. I know it's still very early in the ballgame, but they got to kind of pull themselves together here and make something positive happen. It'll be Brewer, LaPlaca, and then Equistapace due up for Coach Tony Sorelli. And that will remain Eric Crossman on the mound out there. So Crossman on the mound. Had a good first inning. He faced a minimum 3 batters thanks to a double play, a beautiful double play at that, a 5-4-3 double play. And that pitch called a strike. Not a lot of overpowering stuff, a lot of junk, and it usually takes once and a half times through the lineup to kind of get used to their delivery and what they got before you can kind of, right there he's trying to spot his fastball after he threw a breaking ball. Again, post 31. Their July 22nd game against New Jersey, the doubleheader, has been canceled. Not on their end, but on New Jersey's team's end. And he'll wave through that. I believe that's a knuckleball, if not, it's the changeup. But again, it's hard to tell from almost 400 feet away from behind the pitcher, but he's got the motion of the breaking, or the knuckleball. So 1-2, and Brewer trying to get things started here. Get on base, and it'll be just outside. It'll be a 2-2 count. Not a bad pitch at all to throw with a 1-2 count. Now it goes 2-2. Well, a lot of stuff coming up. I know you say, geez, Jerry's so far away, but you've got the really big show coming up. That's the first Saturday in November at the Paramount Theater, and he will get them on that pitch. And Brewer will strike out, and that'll become the first strikeout of the ball game for Crossman. Now LaPlaca up. But I started going to tell you about the really big show. It'll be the really big show 11. It's to help raise money for the United Way of Rutland County, and it's a talent show that features all local people, and it's singing, dancing, comedy, you know, the whole dance numbers from the local dance studios. It's just great stuff. And that could drop in as we try to find it. Oh, it's a good effort out there, but it'll drop in front of the center fielder, Beckler, who came sliding in. LaPlaca will be on base with 1 down. Now we'll see if Coach Sorelli wants to get a pinch courtesy runner or let Anthony stay out there. And looks like Anthony's going to stay out there and run for himself. A lot of times Coach Sorelli will bring in a courtesy runner. Now Quistapace up, the pitcher, Zach Quistapace, with 1 out, 1 on. He's been struggling at the plate a little bit. Again, that's well spotted outside corner, and it'll be strike 1. But Sam Garuso, again, will host, be the MC of the Really Big Show. And, of course, I'll tape the Really Big Show for Channel 15. Talk to Chuck Sharp, the director of United Way here. Now, boy, if he gets that call all night long, he'll be cruising. That's going to be 0-2. So Quistapace right here, he's got to just get the bat on the ball with 2 strikes. Fight it off and just stay alive if he doesn't like the pitch. Just like that. Now this could be, it's giving him a good run, and well, that would have been a great catch. Those going away, running over like a football receiver, those are the highest ones, and that was almost a great effort right there by Randall. He just didn't come up with the catch, and it'll stay as a strike. It'll stay 0-2. But the goal this year, and the goal every year for the Really Big Show, is to fill the Paramount Theater up. Now last year, I bet you they came within 50 seats of doing that. And now you got plenty of notice. First Saturday in November, 7 o'clock start time. You can just go to the Paramount Theater's website, which I believe is something like ParamountTheater.com. Easy enough to find. It's, give them a buzz, look them up in the phone book, but get ready for the Really Big Show 11. And it's something also, see it live, but then you can watch it over and over and over on Channel 15. And all the, on that particular program, all the tape duplications and DVD duplications that you purchase, all that goes to the United Way. And that's good eye by what Quistapace right there. You'll work it back to a 2-2 count. And then, of course, on Halloween, you'll have the Halloween Parade brought to you live on Channel 15. Tom Laypole will be the camera operator again. And usually the week before that, you have the Pumpkin Princess pageant on Channel 15 where they choose that, and that's going to be a good job. 2 strikes, he went down and fouled it off, didn't leave it up to the umpire to call striker ball right there. It was going to be close either way, so they fouled it off and stays 2-2. Then, of course, if you're looking for something sooner to happen, there's always the Ethnic Food Festival downtown and the Sidewalk Sale Days coming up. It's a good social event. Go down and yak to people. And boy, Quistapace's having a good at bat right now. I believe that's the 4th foul ball in a row. And that stays at 2-2. Down at first base is LaPlaca. He had that little blooper single to center field that Beckler almost came up with for the catch. But Brewer struck out to start this inning. And don't forget, post 323 from Granville's already turned 1 double play. And that's going to be Beckler, and he will make the catch in center field and get the ball, and no damage will be done. The runner can't move up, and there's 2 down. Hey, nice job, though. Quistapace, flying out or not, made him throw a lot of pitches on a warm night. Now Sean McGuire, who's been making good contact the last 3-4 ball games, done a nice job getting the bat on the ball. Remember in that Chester game, I believe it came in the 5th. It could have been the 6th inning here. He put the left fielder right against the 310 marker. Actually, he had to reach over the wall and make the catch, or he would have hit a home run. Here's a throw to first, and LaPlaca, very conservative lead, will be back safe. So McGuire will step back in there and wait for the first pitch to come to the plate. He's the left fielder tonight defensively for Rutland. And that's a good pitch right at the belt, and be strike 1. 0-1 the count, and 2 down. And Rutland with a second runner of the ball game. Remember the first time they had a base runner, he got doubled up. Crossman on the mound from the stretch. And boy, that's some pretty nice dancing back there by McGuire not to get hit. It'll make it a 1-1 count. And post 13, I mean, hard to believe, or post 31, hard to believe we're, again, by the time this airs, we're just chugging along toward the end of the season real quick. A nice job by the catcher Jackson trying to slide it over and frame it. He couldn't steal the call. It'll go to 2 balls, 1 strike. Again, the top 4 teams make the Southern Vermont playoff bracket. Same thing up north. And Rutland right now just in a battle. Like I said, a lot of parity this year, and that's going to be a strike there. Rutland and Bennington have already split 2 games this year, each winning at their home fields. Brattleboro losing to Bennington. Chester beating Bennington. I mean, you start going around, and really there's no clear-cut winner or favorite this year. Oh, great pitch out in the inning. Strand, a runner over at first base. We'll go to the 3rd. 3-0. Granville with the lead. So we go to the top of the 3rd. I'd just like to thank American Legion Post 31 for allowing me to do their home baseball games. I'd like to thank the Post 31 concessions people. They always set me up with some cold water. And it's going to be Dan Randall facing Zach Quistapace here in the top of the 3rd. And again, Quistapace, even though we're going into the 3rd, he has thrown a lot of pitches. He's labored tonight. He's given up 4 walks, 1 single, has 1 strikeout. He's had a balk, and his team's committed an error behind him. So non-league game or not, you really got to attack each game. And they're just not sharp right now. And it's going to be McGuire coming in hard and calling for it. Good communications out there. And Sean McGuire will make the catch for Rutland for the first out. Again, that was the most impressive part of the play, was all the communications going on in the field. Now Shawnee 2, who walked back in the 1st, will get a second look at Zach Quistapace. And what Quistapace needs right now is just to find one pitch that works really consistent. Kind of live on it. And if he can get ahead in the count, then kind of tweak and perfect his junk stuff. Again, it's a very warm night, and that's a great pitch. Maybe it's just going to take him a while to kind of get loosened up, get into the groove of things here. Plaka like that himself. See what he calls here with that 0-1 count. Well, Black will set up outside, and he'll do that a lot. See him slide inside, and boy, he couldn't get the call, but Quistapace actually asked where it was, and the umpire showed it as his opinion being too far inside. But you see a lot, because what Plaka's thinking is that the batter might be sneaking a peek back at him. That's going to be ugly in the ball. But he'll set up an outside corner at the last second, jump back over to the middle of the plate or the inside part. And a lot of times, too, it's not just the batter, but the bench area or the coaching can be talking, outside corner. And that's going to be up the middle, and another base hit. That's going to be the second base hit of the game for post 323 from Granville. And they'll have a runner at first base with 1 down. That was just driven right back up the middle by E2. So he's walked and singled. Now Mike Jones up. He grounded out to Pat Guyette at third base back in the 1st inning. And what's really lacking right now from post 31 is emotion. They're a very flat team right now, very quiet team. The dugout's quiet, they're quiet. And that had some nice cut action down and into the lefty. It'd be a swinging strike right there. Of course, again on July 25th, that's a 5:30 start time. You'll be able to catch some home action. Post 31, that'll be their final regular season game. Hopefully they would have qualified for the playoffs by then. And Quistapes with a 1-1 count. McLaughlin, even with the bag at third in that one, again, trying to float that junk in there. Now get away from him and just come in high, never really break, making it 2 balls, 1 strike. And of course, Brewer over at first base holding the runner E2 on, who's got about a 3-step lead, about a very short lead right now. And that's fouled straight back. And again, in case you missed the announcement earlier, happy 21st birthday to Nicole Densmore. I don't know her technically correct title for Post 31, other than she does just about everything for Coach Sorelli. The lineup, the book, sets up the music, the PA, does the CD stuff. Good job holding up. Yeah, they'll check it, but he definitely held up. And that will become yet another full count. Of course, the pace already with 4 walks in the game. So Mike Jones, that runner at first, really would rather get a pitch here. He can get the bat on and drive it. He will be called out on a very generous strike zone right there. And I'll tell you what, Quistapes won't argue with that, but Mike Jones kind of shrugged his shoulders, and if I was a hitter, I think I would have done the same thing right there. 2 down now on the second strikeout of the game by Quistapes and Jim Joya. He fouled out to the first baseman, Garrett Brewer. And that will be grabbed outside, and that'll be ball 1. So 2 hits in the game so far for Granville, but 3 runs. It's 3-0 in the top of the 3rd. And that'll be high. He won't get the call that time. It'll be 2 balls, no strikes. And you know, if you want the schedule for Channel 15, Channel 20, 21, which is all PEGTV, you can see it. And CM's Good News. It's all in one place. You can just find all the stations right there. Big swing and a miss right there. Makes it a statement. That pitch did that. A lot of juice on it. But you can also get the go to the website PEGTV.com and get the schedule that way. And he could not hold up on that. They won't need to appeal that. Now it'll become a 2-2 count now. So Quistapes with 2 Ks in the game, looking for number 3 right here, would also be the 3rd out of the 3rd inning. And that, you'll see LaPlaca watch it, and it'll just go over to River Street, and he'll stay now with a 2-2 count on that foul ball backing out of play. And you know, I talk a lot about Channel 15 because that's where most of my programming goes to, is to program director Tom Leopold there. But Channel 20, Chris McCormick there, and Channel 21, Bob Gregory do a great job also. And that's going to be through the hole and be picked up by McGuire, so there'll be 2 hits this inning. And I'll put runners at first and second for Granville. 2 down though. Now Haddock up, he walked, stole a base, and eventually scored in the 2nd inning. Again, he's a lefty. They won't be holding the runner on at first, so this time Brewer will play back in a normal defensive posture with runners at first and second. And that's going to be a right base hit as I missed it, and I'm looking for the runner. Here he's going to take a wide turn and come back, and we're going to have the bases loaded with 2 down. So 3 singles here in this 3rd inning. And Brian Leach up, he walked, stole the base, and scored. Remember, he was part of that double steal. And LaPlaca is going to talk to his pitcher, Zach Quistapes. Now, LaPlaca played, he's graduated from MSJ. He played for Hamilton College this past spring, but he's familiar with Quistapes from having caught him in high school and also in Legion Ball last year. But again, you know, just to be very blunt about it, Rutland very emotionless right now. No emotion at all from the dugout or on the field, and kind of see that in their play right now. It's a little listless. So the base is loaded. Granville with a great opportunity here to really put some padding on that 3-0 lead. 2 down though. And boy, not the time to get wild. No place to put this walk, and that went right off the face mask on a foul ball of LaPlaca, the catcher. They'll chase it down and get set. Makes it 0-1 the count. But boy, there's been some great games. Go back, the Windsor game was an excellent game here. Bennington was a super game. The Chester game was 10 innings of just great baseball. And that's a big swing and a miss. 2 strikes now. But every now and then you get kind of a slower game emotionally and both on the field play-wise too. So Quistepay looking for his 3rd strikeout of the game, trying to leave the bases loaded. Oh. It's not where that catcher catches it. And remember the strikeout he had earlier that was high and to the left-hander on the opposite side of the plate. He didn't get the call this time to the righty. And now, see, he went back to just fishing right there. He's nibbling at the corners. 2-2 the count. We'll see what Placa will call here, if he'll look just for the high fastball or that cut action slider he's got. That's what he went to, and it's in the dirt, and he's worked himself all the way back now from being up in the count to a 3-2 count. And you know, it's not a Quistepay, it's young pitchers. He got up in the count, instead of sticking with his bread and butter that got him there, he threw a whole bunch of junk, and now he's found himself 3-2 count, got to throw a strike, bases loaded. Don't forget the hitter's probably sitting out there thinking, I hope I'm getting that fastball. And he will walk in the run. So they'll make it 4-0. Bases will still be loaded. So 3 singles and a walk this inning. 5 walks for the ball game. Now Beckler will come up, the center fielder. He walked and advanced all the way to, finally he advanced to 3rd, but that was where the balk came into play when he was on base. And he'll make him throw a strike while he's struggling out there, and that'll be a strike right there. Now see, that's just a good old-fashioned fastball right there. Now we'll see if he comes back and throws that off-speed stuff. That's been his tendency. I'm not in favor of it, but that'll miss inside, and that'll leave the count out at 1-1. Like I started to say, I'm not sure who would be available for arms tonight. I know that. That's a great catch by LaPlaca. Remember, the bases are still loaded. 2 balls, 1 strike. Chad Ryan, I didn't see his name on the roster over there as far as people available, but he does pitch. And of course, Matt Sharon isn't here tonight, so he wouldn't be here to pitch. And tell you what, that's a floating strike zone right there, and he'll get a 2-2 count. But a Quistepay, I'm sure they'd like to get as many innings out of him as they could stand tonight. And it's going to be to McLaughlin. He's just got foul ball. If that would have been fair, he would just had to stand on the bag. Remember, bases loaded. Everything's a forced play right now. Now it'll just be a foul ball. They'll move everybody back in place at 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and that'll keep the count at 2-2. And again, low and outside, a nice pickup by. See, I just don't believe in. If you had good control all night, which with 5 walks, he obviously hasn't, to throw a breaking ball 2-2. Now it's a full count. I almost got to come in with the fastball. And boy, he got a little help right there from the hitter going up the ladder at what would have been ball 4, and that'll be fouled out of play onto River Street. Channel 15, your information station. If you need the weather forecast, people who are on the run from the police, you can just go to that bulletin board, and you can find all that stuff. And that, the runners were off and running with 2 outs. McGuire's going to make a mistake trying to pick it up, and they're going to keep sending people in right now. You can see this last runner coming through as McGuire charged the ball. The throw will be late, and somebody's got to cover the bag at 3rd. McLaughlin will quickly get back into position, and that double will clear the bases. So he came in with the fastball, was right down the heart of the plate. They were sitting on it. And 4 runs in this inning makes it 7-0. Beckler ends up at 2nd base. He had a single, and he took the 2nd base on a mistake by McGuire out in left field. And we'll look, and got the head coach, got the coach coming out. Yeah, that's Tony. And we'll see what they're going to do for Yeah, they're taking the baseball from him, so we'll see who the change is when they come back. Brad Curtis up, and the new pitcher's Jeff McLaughlin. Now, I gotta be honest with you, I haven't seen McLaughlin pitch this year for Post 31. But I know they're thinning that department right now without Chad Ryan, Matt Sharon being here. Turner's already, like I said, he has no innings left. Pamacala, I don't believe has any innings left in him. Quistipace is spent after 2+ innings, gave up 7 runs. Not all of them are earned. He's walked a ton of people. I'll have to do all the stats, but not a good outing. He'll go back to the drawing board. But McLaughlin is high with a ball right there. So his first pitch will be ball 1 to Brad Curtis. 7-0 in the top of the third. Granville, who lost 10-5 to Rutland. That'll be lofted out to McGuire, and looks like Sean's going to make a great catch. Did he come up with it? No, he dropped it. And that's going to score the 8th run, and the throw coming into second, and again, they're tossing the ball around. They missed the cutoff, and a great effort by McGuire. Almost came up with it. But that'll drive in Beckler with the 5th run of this inning, 8th of the game. And Tom Jackson, who singled and scored, and then flied out to Dorian in center field. And non-league or not, I mean, they just came out emotionally, Rutland did, and it's playing it like it's just not even a practice, not even up that intense right now. Sorelli, I forgot to tell you, Mike Sorelli's gone in to play third base for McLaughlin. So when I saw Sorelli come out, I seen him pitch this year. I thought they were going to put him on the mound, but he might get there before the night's over. And this could be a shortened game for Granville's way. That pitch a strike. So Sorelli is at third, Guyette's at short, Parker at second, and Brewer at first. LaPlaca's your catcher, your pitcher's McLaughlin, and pulled the string on that one. Holtman, Dorian, and McGuire, that's the outfield. 1-2 the count, 2 down, 8-0 Granville. Trying to avenge an earlier season loss to Rutland Post 31. And he will hold up, and that's a good discipline right there, pulling off that pitch, and he'll go 2-2 the count. And I know you have games like this throughout the season, and the runner can't take second, he's got to go back. Yeah, the runner from second was going to third. That's ball's a dead ball once it hits the batter, and they would have batted around now. So Randall up, who's 0 for 2, he's flied out in foul territory to Brewer, and he's flied out to McGuire. He's got runners at first and second, and 2 down, and the Mercy rule's a 10-run lead, and in this case, would have to go the full 5 innings because Rutland, the home team, is the one that is behind, would be behind, even though it's only 8-0 right now. Randall looking to get a piece here of a ball. McLaughlin with the first distinction of all the walks and hits. He's the first guy to hit a batter, and that's being a strike right there. I mean, I don't think they're really thin at pitching. It's just that 10-inning game really ate up a lot of their availability, and the fact that players aren't here that usually are available. And that's going to be a base hit, and it'll be picked up by Holtman. He'll bobble it around. There's run number 9 right there coming in. And good piece of base running going to third base. So there is Randall with an RBI single. And I'm telling you what, you could hear a pin drop right now. It's so quiet. So in this inning, it's featured 2 doubles, 4 singles, a walk, a hit batter, a 2-up now, in a dog of a game. It's 9-0 right now, Granville, and we're only in the top of the third. And that pitch will be low for a ball. But getting back to the arms and people available and all that, like I said, I didn't see Chad Ryan in the dugout. That doesn't mean he's not here, but I didn't see him. I didn't see him on the list. Matt Sharon's at college orientation. Turner's not available. Pamacala's not available. And that's going to be high. Now the runner's going to go, and the throw's going to gut him. Oh, they called him safe. You know, the strangest part of that, the runner at third never released. So they'll be second and third now with 2 down. For Shawnee, too. And like I said, he singled his last time up and scored. They've hit around the order. And that'll be a ball. Chris Barker's pitched in Legion Ball before. He's also pitched in high school. Dorian, I've seen pitch at different levels. Guyette pitched in Saturday's game. I don't know if he'd have enough rest where they would bring him in, but that will be a walk on 4 pitches. Now put runners at first, second, and third. Bases are loaded. Now Mike Jones, who's grounded out to Guyette at short and struck out. I tell you, these are demoralizing innings for your defense behind you. They've been out there a long, hot time. That pitch will miss. Well, I'm not second guessing the coach. I'm just trying to figure out who's available and who's thrown and why he came in with McLaughlin from third. And a lot of times they'll tell you it's a non-league game. We'll just throw everybody and let people play some different positions and save some innings for other people. And that's not making it right or wrong. I thought you should attack every game like it was the 7th game of the World Series. That'll miss high and outside, so it'll go to 1-1 to count, 2-1 to count, 2 balls, 1 strike. 9-0 Granville over Rutland in the third. Oh yeah. It's almost like the teams have reversed roles from the first game, and Granville gave up all those walks and hit batters and all that. Rutland, I'll count it up, but they're nearing double digits in walks. They've got a big error. They've got a box on there, a hit batter. I mean, it couldn't get too much uglier right now for post 31. And that is going to be a foul ball. See Holtman jogging over there, but it'll be foul. So McLaughlin, he's a gamer. He's in there with a 2-2 count right now, looking for that very, very, very elusive third out of this inning. Oh. He was leaving the mound because he thought he had strike 3. Now, the strike zone won't affect the 9-0 game at all. So I'm not saying that that's the turning point. But it's been a hit-and-miss strike zone. Like that right there. Now, if I'm the hitter, I got to be scratching my head, but that'll be the third out. 9-0 Granville. So Rutland offensively have been pretty listless as much as they have been in the field. They make Crossman out there look like Roger Clemens. He's got 2 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 base hit. His team's turned double play, and there's no time to really mess around right now. It's going to be Guyette, Holtman, and Dorian. If you're going to get back in the ball game, you got to score some runs right here in the third. Because he's throwing a lot of junk, nothing really overpowering. But they really, again, you have games like that. You're talking about young people. But boy, I can't really tell you how bad I think this is. I gotta be somewhat kind, but I was a fiery player, an emotional coach, and I'd certainly be talking so you could hear me in the dugout right now to my team. 9-0. I've seen bigger deficits wiped out, but like I said, it's got to happen now. At least some of the runs. And oh my God, that's a strike. So he'll step out and take a look down the third baseline with a 2-1 count. And Crossman from that full windup, all set, and he'll offer, but I don't believe he went. But it's a coin flip tonight. They'll peel it, and oh my God, they called that a strike. They said he went on that pitch. Oh, there's going to be a 2-2 count. And I just will wait and see what happens. And I'm just waiting to make sure that, because it's obviously a coin flip tonight. Full count out there, 3 balls, 2 strikes. You know what I don't like is somewhere around this booth, I hope outside, there is a skunk the animal skunk. That's the last thing you really need around here, down by Otter Creek. So that's going to be a walk to Guyette. And now John Holtman up. This is his first time up. So Holtman, the left-handed hitter. Guyette being held on at first base by Randall. So that creates a little hole out there, but they've got to chug away a couple runs here just to see if they got a pulse left. That pitch called a strike. 0-1 to count, and happy birthday, 21st birthday again to Nicole Densmore. And from the long set, well, Holtman held up, that's going to drop in. That's going to drop in. He held up just long enough, and there's going to be a walk and a single now. You see Guyette at second base. Holtman will be at first. And that's tough to get your weight going forward like that and then kind of hold back long enough to make contact like that. Now Dorian, who walked back into first, and he was eventually doubled up on the Parker ground out. Post 31 with a first and second threat here and nobody down. And they need it. They're down 9 runs. 9-0 on their home field here at St. Peter's Field. So Crosman, after a little talk with his catcher down there, Jackson. And he's got that very hitched delivery, which it's tough on the hitter, but it's tough on the base runner. He almost comes to a freeze frame after he comes from set before he comes home. There's his set. Now he just stepped off. Sure, I was waiting to let you see it. He stepped off, and Guyette, who only had a 4 or 5 step lead, went back, tagged up again. And he'll get that low strike called for 0-2 count now. So Dorian got to be swinging at everything here. 0-2, 2 on, nobody down, except Rutland. They're down 9 runs. And that's going to be, oh boy, the runner never tried to advance on that. Good hustle behind the plate by Tom Jackson on a wild pitch, and boy, I tell you what, Guyette was only about 4 or 5 steps off the bag on the wild pitch. So Dorian with a 1-2 count. He'll fight that off. There'll be another base hit, and Guyette's going to be sent home with Post 31's first run of the ball game. You see Holtman right there stayed at second, and there's Dorian with an RBI single. That was a tough pitch. That was a high pitch, and he got up there and tomahawked it and got a base hit. Now Parker up. So there's been a walk and 2 singles, and Parker hit into a 5-4-3 double play. But I honestly feel that Post 31's got to come up with at least 3 runs here to kind of get a pulse and get going and have a shot in this ball game. That could also pep them up on the other end of it. Oh, Parker stroked that. Parker stroked that, and that's going to be a ground rule double. Bounced over the wall, and that's going to, yeah. Oh, is that going to be a foul ball? Okay, foul ball. I saw the big bounce and went over the wall, but it must have been a foul ball. So that's a long, exciting strike by Parker. I'll tell you what, he's getting a second look, and he timed that hanging curveball right there pretty nicely. Now, let's see if we can straighten that thing out a little bit, and don't bounce it over the fence. Put it right over on a fly. Now, if they can get some kind of buzz going offensively, it might carry over into their pitching and defense. McLaughlin did go behind into the bullpen area behind the dugouts here to throw a little bit in this inning after he came off the field. That's going to be right up. They're going to go take the lead runner out 1, and they'll get the out. So Parker will get a fielder's choice. They'll have the force out 1-5. And that's also the first out. Now McLaughlin up with 1 out and 2 on, first and second still. That's a good job fielding the ball by Eric Crosman. So McLaughlin trying to help dig his team out of this 9-1 deficit here, looking for a base hit. Got very fast runners on, especially at second with Dorian. And it came in high. Again, it's not where that catcher's catching it. It's where it's crossing the plate, and that pitch was high right there, and it's going to be ball 1. So McLaughlin got a piece of it, and this is going to be Beckler circling in, making the catch. And there goes Dorian to third base, and they got him safe there. Nice job. Nice job. They got him there safely, and he slid in. Boy, he took all the speed he had to get there. On a deep flying ball by McLaughlin. Now Garrett Brewer up. He struck out in his only plate appearance.
Number 26, the first baseman, Garrett Brewer.
Again, I have a little meeting out here on the mountains. We'll talk about Brewer with LaPlaca on deck behind him. And wow, they're having a whole team meeting now. Everybody come on out. We're in the bottom of the third. It's 9-1 Granville. They scored 1 in the first, 2 in the second, and 6 in the third. And like I've said many games, Brewer, big strong guy. He left the yard last year here during Legion season with a couple of home runs. He can make it real interesting if he could get one over the fence here. But we'd settle for just a base hit at 9-1 right now. He got up underneath it, and Beckler seems to have a really good look at it. Will make the catch, and Rutland will pick up a run. It'll be 9-1 going into fourth. Granville. And it will be McLaughlin back out on the mound here in the top of the fourth. Jim Joy at the plate, and the pitch coming will be, boy, Brewer looking for yet another put out, and nope, this time he's going to run out of room. It'll be out of play, and it'll be just a strike. So McLaughlin will be up in the count to Jim Joy, 1 strike. Pulse 31 breaking through with just 1 run in the bottom of the third. So in the fourth, we're going to be looking at Jim Joy, Willie Hadeka, and Brian Leach. And that's a good pitch by McLaughlin. And he got the call. That'll make it an 0-2 count. And McLaughlin, who started the game at third, now in there pitching. And it's going to be to Guyette. Yeah, he got caught between hops. That'll be another error on Rutland. Be their second of the game, and that's what happened. He didn't really charge it. He started to charge it, and he kind of put the brakes on. And he got caught between hops, and that'll be Joy on first base, E6. Hadeka's walked and scored, singled and scored, and has got an RBI. So Willie Hadeka's had a very productive trip back to a field where he's very familiar with playing baseball. And they put that shift on with the lefty up, and they're holding the runner on at first base with Brewer out there on the bag, and that's going to be foul ball. So McLaughlin will be up again here in this count, 0-1. So Mark Noble, I didn't note that. I missed that. Changed defensively, but Mr. Shortle on the PA noticed that Mark Noble's now your left fielder. He replaces Sean McGuire. And this could be a double play. He stayed back on the ball. There's 1. And that's it. They'll take the lead runner out. So they'll get rid of that error right there, and that'll be 1 out. And Haddock will have a fielder's choice. Now Brian Leach, who's walked twice, scored twice. And Haddock, of course, with blinding speed. See if they'll send them here on a steal. They're up 9 runs, or 9-1. They're up 8 runs here in the fourth. And Jeff McLaughlin on the pitch. And that's a good block behind the plate by LaPlaca. So Noble, defensively, number 18, out in left field for Rutland Post 31. And he was safe. I didn't turn the camera, but he dove back, was safe at first. I was marking down the defensive change. McLaughlin with that long look in, he'll throw over to first now, and that will get away, and Haddock is going to have second base. And that's not out of play, so he can keep running. He stayed in the field of play, but there'll be an error. That'll be the third error on Rutland. There'll be an error on McLaughlin. So a couple errors this inning, and Leach with that 1-ball count. So Haddock puts himself in scoring position with just the reputation of having speed. Drew a lot of attention from the pitcher and ended up getting an error on an errant throw over to first. And again, boy, what a quiet dugout and a quiet bench and a quiet bleachers, and even the team that's ahead's quiet. And it's 9-1, and they're looking to add to that lead right now. Granville is. They've run her down at second with 1 down. And that, if that's fair, that's going to get a run in, and yeah, that's going to roll past Noble. It's going to go to the wall. You see the 10th run coming in, and then you pick up the base runner, the hitter right there, and yeah, he'll have a double and an RBI as they pulled that right down the third baseline. Now they'll drive in Haddock, and Leach will be standing out at second base. Jordan Beckler, who's walked and had a double, couple RBIs, and scored himself. As it goes 10-1. Because the Mercy rules, you got to be up by 10, but the home team being the team behind, you have to play the full 5 innings. If it was the other way around, Rutland was up, then it'd be after the top of the 5th would be the game. So at 10-1, and Leach at second, Beckler will take a strike from McLaughlin. Again, Post 31 will be in action on July 25th. And that's going to be a high, slow chopper, and that's going to be a hard play, and they'll get him. Nice job by Parker. That off-balance cross his body throw. He'll get the runner out at first. That'll be 2 down, and the runner does move up to third base, so. Now Curtis up. He's flied out to Parker at second, struck out, and doubled, and scored, and has an RBI. So he's been a busy guy. Curtis and Granville lost here in the season opener, 10-5. Boy, they've really turned the tables on Rutland here in the second meeting. And that's going to drop in. Yeah, it's going to be a fair ball. Let's see, the run is scored. And it'll be a single, so he'll have another RBI and another base hit. Had just enough reach to go to the top of the third baseman, Sorelli. So they've scored every inning. 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 6 in the third, 2 so far in the fourth. And Jackson up. He was hit by a pitch his last time up. Oh yeah, they've got a ton of walks, a hit batter, a balk, 3 errors, and a bunch of base hits. It's been an ugly night for Post 31. They're down 10 runs right now at 11-1. And like I said, I mean, it's really irrelevant what I think, but non-league or not, you got to approach it with a lot of gusto. You got to just pretend this is Bennington or Brattleboro out there. Put some effort. Or emotion, not effort, it's emotion's what they're lacking tonight. They have effort, they're trying their best, but 1-1 to count in the top of the 4th. 2 down, looking for that very hard to find third out here. Now, Quistape started the game and got off to a shaky start right from the get-go, and never really seemed to find his rhythm or any groove or any type of comfort zone tonight at all. Struggled every pitch. Runner going, and that's going to be picked up by Brewer. He'll flip to first, and he'll get the out. It'll be, though, 11-1 Granville with the lead going into the bottom of the 4th. Well, it's going to be Anthony LeBlanc due up here for Rutland Post 31 in the bottom of the 4th. And I can see John Holtman warming up in the bullpen area, and we could see him pitch in the 5th. He is back there throwing behind the dugout area, the bullpen area. LeBlanc this afternoon has been up once. He got a little bloop single in the center field as he's going against Eric Crossman. And the first pitch will be, and I got to wait for him to call it tonight because it's been kind of all over the place. It's going to be ball 1. So Granville taking advantage of errors and walks and hit batters and some timely hitting. And that's hit on a rope, and that's going to roll into the wall, and LaPlaca will have his second hit of the afternoon. He'll have a double, so he's got a single and a double. And like I always tell you, I've seen bigger leads disappear in ball games, but they better hit the on switch now. And it'll be Sorelli. So Sorelli's going to hit in Aquistapace's spot. That's why I was waiting to see where he plugged Sorelli and went in to take McLaughlin's spot at third, but McLaughlin came on to pitch. So Mike Sorelli, who handles the bat real good, is at the plate. LaPlaca with about a 5-step lead off the bag at second, and Crossman to the plate will have a strike. Snuck by him on that inside corner. It was 1-0 at the end of the one. Granville with the lead. It was 2-0 Granville at the end of two, and it was 9-1 at the end of three, and then Granville plating a couple more in the top half of the fourth to make it 11-1. And you see Sorelli kind of get fooled and duck out of the way, and on that big old bending breaking ball, and that was called a ball. It's going to be a 1-1 count. Again, if you're looking for that channel 15, channel 20, or channel 21 schedule, you can find it in Sam's Good News. You can also find it on the website at PEGTV.com. And this looks like it's under control. It'll be caught, and LaPlaca will stay at second base. There'll be one out on that fly out to right field to Brian Leach, who makes the catch. Now Noble will hit in McGuire's spot, and this will be Noble's first at bat. So Noble from the right side against Crossman, who's gone the distance here for Granville. He's got a couple strikeouts. And that one came in high for a ball. That letter high, you didn't get the call. It'll be ball one. Now, talking about that mercy rule, it's 11-1 right now. If it stays this way at the end of 5 full innings, that will be the ball game. It'll be shortened due to the mercy rule. And that'll miss outside, and that'll be ball two. I think actually if anything it was high, and that'll be ball two. So a 2-0 count to Noble. And on deck, I think we go back, yeah, it'll be Guyette. We're back into the normal, what was the start of the game lineup. So Guyette will be the on-deck hitter. And that's fisted up and looks to be playable, and boy, everybody got collision right there. There's got to be a call somewhere. Yeah, batter's out because you can't interfere with the fielder, and it's a good call. Now Rutland's doing about just about everything they can do have go wrong tonight with that particular play. Yeah, so it's interference. Now Guyette will come out, and they're one out away from wasting that leadoff double by LaPlaca. Guyette walked and scored the only run for Rutland back in the third. And I had to wait. The umpire wasn't. Pitcher was all set. The umpire was getting his headgear back on. Now he's behind the plate. And he points to the pitcher, and that means good to go. Yeah, they're going to do that little snap throw to second base. LaPlaca back in time. Actually blocked the throw and went off him and got picked up by the second baseman. Really didn't get far enough away to do any damage. And Guyette will just step out and look down to the third base coach. So Rutland having a rough game on Saturday against Bennington, and this is just a disaster here tonight. Now they got to get this out of their system as we go into the. We're in the middle part of the season now, heading down toward that final couple week stretch. They got to get it together here. Like I said, a lot of teams with just 1 or 2 losses in league play. Southern Vermont League, Rutland one of them. They've got just 2 league losses, one to Hartford, one to Bennington. They have a tie that's going to be resolved with Chester, and that'll happen on July 15th down in Chester. They'll resume that game called because of darkness. After 10 innings here, they'll pick it up in the 11th inning with Chester coming to the plate in a 2-2 game. Then when that game concludes, they'll go into their regularly scheduled 9-inning game for the down in Chester. So an 0-2 count, and Guyette. Watch that one go outside. Good eye or good luck, one or the other, but it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Again, Rutland split with Bennington. They've got Brattleboro coming up on the horizon. And boy, it's so, I mean, every game's big, but they got to kind of, they're going to get back on track. They better start winning some of the league games or they'll find themselves not one of the top 4 teams. I mean, in my opinion, when I look, I'm not naming how they'll finish, but I think Rutland's definitely got the talent to be one of the top 4 teams for the playoffs in Southern Vermont. I think Chester's got an excellent ball club. Bennington, with or without McDonald's, going to be solid. Brattleboro. And I really don't see a surprise team. Bellows Falls could be the only other one that could kind of jump up there and surprise you. Fairhaven, I don't know what their problem is. They've got athletes, they've got talent, but they just don't seem to put everything together. Woodstock, I don't believe is going to have enough to put it all together to make a 4th spot. Hartford's a tough team. They're better than their record, but they put it together here against Rutland 8-5 and a win here on St. Peter's Field. But they have problems against other teams. If they could play Rutland every game, that'd be different. But oh, right there. Just watched it go there, down the pipe, strike 3, and that'll be the inning. We go to the 5th, 11-1, Granville. So you're looking at lefty John Holtman out there with a swinging strike. And first time during the home season that I seen him pitch here, and that was a good-looking pitch. And he started off in right field. He's moved into pitch now in the 5th. It's 11-1. Granville with the lead, and if it stays that way through 5, that'll be the ball game, and that'll be out the end of the bat, and that'll be strike 2. And I should probably tell you who's at the plate. It's Dan Randall up there. Rutland tonight, pitching-wise, they've issued 6 walks, 8 hits, 1 hit batter, 1 balk, 3 errors, and 3 strikeouts. It's been an ugly ball game. And that pitch is going to come in here, and that's going to be popped up, and McLaughlin, who's gone out to second base, and he's going to be called off. And Parker, who went from second to right, calls off McLaughlin, and he'll make the first catch. And Holtman will retire, the first hitter he faces. And I had another switch, maybe? No, I got Noble, Dorian, and Parker, the outfield. Okay. So E2 up now on that 1 out, nobody on situation. E2 this afternoon, he's had 2 walks, a base hit, scored a run, and driven in a run. And Holtman will kick and fire, and that'll come too far inside. Had a nice break on the ball, but it was too far inside. It's been a warm evening. Coming off a 1-1 weekend, a tough loss where they gave up 17 runs to Bennington in a losing effort, and then they defeated Woodstock. They're going to go back on the downside 500 ball here. League or non-league or Southern Vermont League or whatever you want to call it. Wasn't really the type of game you needed to kind of gain momentum heading into the second half of the Legion season. They still have games with Chester, with Brattleboro, with Bellows Falls. And that pitch right there, 3-1 to count, is John Holtman. Got a lot of pop on the ball. I like that. Of course, with that lefty, he's got that lively ball. All lefties have that movement on the ball. And that's going to be popped up, and McLaughlin going to be called off again by Parker, and they'll repeat the procedure, and Parker will make the same results. He'll have the catch for the second out. So 2 down here. It's Rutland looking for their first 1-2-3 inning of the ball game. They allowed, let me try to do this math, 8, 9, 12 batters come to the plate in the 3rd. So it's lefty against lefty right now, and you're looking at the DH Mike Jones. He's hit for the pitcher Crossman all night. Boy, he helped out Holtman right there. He went up the ladder and chopped at one. It'll be a 1-1 count now. Of course, that outfield's got that left-handed shift on. Not quite like you see for David Ortiz of the Red Sox, but they have shaded to the right field side of second base. And it'll be high. And it'd be nice to see him get a left-handed pitcher in their rotation at some point like this, like Holtman. And it'll be low, won't catch the plate, and it'll be a 3-1 count. Holtman's done a nice job defensively in the outfield, but they really lack a left-handed presence. And that'll be ball 4. So he's got 2 down, and base runner. It'll become the 7th walk of the game for Rutland pitching. Jim Joyce popped up in foul territory to Garrett Brewer. He singled and scored, had an RBI, and then he reached on an error. And that's a swinging strike. Again, you see that nice movement on that ball from the left-hander Holtman. And that one, breaking ball, broke too far inside. They'll even count up at 1-1. They are holding a runner on at first base with Brewer. McLaughlin's now at second. Guyette remains at short, and Sorelli is your third baseman. The Black has gone a distance behind the dish. That's going to be high for a ball. 2-1 to count. Dorian's in center field. Noble's in left, and Parker has gone from second to right. And that looks to be like a Robbie Dorian type catch. No, it's going to go all the way and hit the wall, and we'll pick him up going into second base, and nobody on the bag to take the throw, and it'll be a double. Runners at second and third now with 2 down still. As Joy hits a double to center field for the 9th hit of the ballgame. Now Haddock up. He has been on base all night. He's walked, singled, reached on an error, scored 3 times. And again, here we go, lefty against lefty. As again, we're in the top of the 5th, 11-1 Granville. Granville's at the plate, and that could be the 3rd out. Noble says he's got it, and he will settle underneath it. And post 31 needing a run to stay in the ball game here, going into the bottom of the 5th, down 10, 11-1. John Holtman will lead things off here in the 5th for Rutland, and he did something in the top half of the 5th that no pitcher for Rutland had done tonight. He didn't allow a run. He went, that's the first scoreless inning defensively for Rutland post 31. They'd given up 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 6 in the third, 2 in the fourth. And then Holtman held them scoreless in the 5th. Craftsman trying to close the deal out here in the bottom of the 5th. His team up by 10 runs, and that's going to be called a strike. Holtman tonight's only been up once, and he singled. And it's been a very anemic offensive attack tonight by Rutland. And see if they appeal it before I call ball or strike here. And goes to 1-1 count. Eric Craftsman getting the start tonight, and again, he's got a funky motion and doesn't really have a lot of juice on his pitches, but he's up 11-1. Granville playing 8 games in a 10-day stretch. And that'll come inside a tad bit too far. That'll make it 3-1 to Holtman here, leading off in the bottom of the 5th from St. Peter's Field. A very quiet St. Peter's Field. And that's going to be down to second. Joy will stay down on it, turn and get the out. So there's 1 down here in the 5th on that 4-3 ground out. And now bring up top of the order, Rob Dorian. He's walked and singled. And he has the only RBI tonight for post 31. He's been on base both times. And again, I mean, the way I understand the mercy rule is in a 7-inning game, if they do not get a run here in the bottom of the 5th, that'll be a 10-run margin at 11-1. That'll be the ball game. It'll be shortened to 5 innings on their home field against a team they defeated 10-5 already. Every game's different, I know. But boy, I'll tell you what, if it does end like this, it'll be back to the drawing board, getting down some basics and trying to build back up some pump or whatever you want to call it that was missing tonight. I mean, the score definitely not indicative of the team that they can be, this Rutland squad. Now make it a 1-2 to Dorian. As Crossman looking to complete the 5 innings, we'll have, whoa. Now it will be very fortunate a ball at 2-2 now. The catcher is getting set to come up and throw down to third base for going around the horn after a strikeout. And Crossman from that full windup will have it popped up, and Beckler in center field will make yet another catch. He's done a nice job out there defensively for Granville tonight. Now Parker, Chris Parker is hit into a 5-4-3 double play. He's reached on a fielder's choice, and he's got 2 down and nobody on here in the bottom of the 5th. And Crossman just 1 out away from getting the complete game victory, even though if it's shortened or not. And Parker will skip a little rope and get out of the way of that pitch inside near the shins. Again, plenty of post-31 action coming up for you here at St. Peter's Field Live and on Channel 15 taped. But that July 22nd game against New Jersey doubleheader has been canceled. New Jersey didn't want to drive all the way up to Vermont. Guess they've never been here. Couldn't see why you'd want to stay in New Jersey. 1-1 to count. And like I said, coming off some great home games here. The Windsor game, the Chester game, the Bennington game. Not the same team we saw playing those games here tonight. So that pitch missed, and we'll go to 2 balls, 1 strike. And that is lifted, and Beckler, hardly having to move, will make the catch for the 3rd out, and that will be 11-1 now. We'll follow Beckler, and he had a ton of putouts tonight. And I will follow. I'm looking for Coach Sorelli and see if he leads the handshakes. And that's what we're going to have as they'll come out. So post 31 will drop 1 11-1, coming off a 17-run performance where they gave up 17 runs to Bennington, 11 here tonight. And tell you what, support American Legion Baseball, support public access television, but boy, back to the drawing board. They got to get something fixed quick here.